Hi all, Bones here from D3 BSA Bantams and welcome back to the workshop. In this episode we'll be progressing the D3 rebuild, and I'll take you around and show you what we've been up to. We've basically got all the cycle parts ready for assembly, other than reassembling the forks, but we'll show you. Okay, so we've finished our wheels, and what we've done on them is obviously zinc plated all the bare metal components. This is the front wheel. We've polished up the rims, and if you remember from an earlier episode, those spokes were really bad. So what we've elected to do is actually sand the spokes off and paint them in a chrome paint. And I think they've come up really well. Rear wheel over here, you can see we've taken the speedo drive off and given that a paint. That speedo drive works. New wheel bearings in this as well. Rim polished up, spokes painted. So it doesn't come up too bad. There's the bit of the chrome area there that's a little bit iffy. So we'll just head over to the benches over here, and you can see that the rear mudguard there, we've polished all that up, cleaned that all up. Number plate holder is going to be a bit of a challenge in a couple of spots. It's only got a little hole there, and by rights the D3 should have a Sabrina headlight, but because this is painted, the reproduction Sabrinas, you need about a 32mm hole in there, and I'm just a bit worried about wrecking the paint. So I think I'll opt for one of the smaller, little round Y-pack tail light. Won't be technically correct, but it'll preserve the paint. To obviously be able to match this is be a bit of a challenge. There we've got all our internal front fork components. Yeah, the front forks there, and the chrome on the end of those was appalling. So I basically grabbed hold of it and peeled it off, but they chrome plated the whole length of the fork, which is not supposed to do. So we've actually stripped the chrome off, blasted it, and actually painted it in a chrome paint. I think it's come up really well. Now I know a few people will say, oh geez, you know, why have you painted it when it should really be chromed? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is it's about a 6-week lead time to get something re-chromed, and the other thing is these are the best set of stanchions I've ever seen. There is not one mark on them. They've never been in a bike. They haven't been refurbished and re-hard chrome and ground, but by geez, they're the best set I've ever seen. So I don't even have any second-hand sets that go close to that. New fork springs there that we're going to install. Our zinc plating work's being done. This is front end parts. Down here we have some of the rear wheel hardware with the chain adjusters that have been zinc plated, and all our engine components zinc plated. Over there we have our front mudguard. Underneath here is all our engine bits. Barrel's been blasted and painted there. Carrier rack for the back, and the rest of our cycle parts here: headlight nacelle, plunger units, toolbox, front forks, fuel tank. We've polished up the cap for the ultra handlebars on. Top yoke speedo. This was actually missing the dust cap, but we've got another one. Zinc plated screws in the twist grip and fork top nut. So our frame's been cleaned and polished. We've got to change out all this hardware down here for the center stand. So we'll replace the center stand stop plate clip, C-link, and the spring, and also the footrest rod bar. So basically all the cycle parts are now done, ready for assembly. So what I'm going to do now is polish up the primary drive cover. And you can see we've made our own little timber jig that we put a couple of screws through just to hold it in the vise while we're actually polishing it. It just makes it a lot easier. But we'll get onto this and get this done. So that's our primary cover and points cover all polished up. What Justy's doing now is just out with our second-hand stock looking for another set of flywheels so we can rebuild this flywheel. I'm not going to try and, you know, machine something out and put another bearing surface on that flywheel that they cut off the end of the crank pin on. So we'll just grab another set of flywheels and split the crank, press it back up, chew it up. So we've just got the crank in the press and we're just about to separate the flywheels and have a look at our bottom end, make sure it's all right, and swap the flywheels over. We've got another set of flywheels. He's just lining it all up, make sure everything's square and in alignment before we press it out. And it goes bang, like it usually does. It scares the crap out of everyone. Here we go. That looks like it's never been run. It's got grease in it, original grease. Wow. We'll pull it apart and we'll have a look and make sure, clear all the old grease out. Good stuff. So I've just got it separated, and that Kingpin is brand new. It's a brand new rod that was in that. So we're very happy. So these flywheels we've selected to replace the original ones look to be new old stock because they've never have no stake marks around the lip. Just point out where the lip is, just where your stuffer plate goes. They've got absolutely no stake marks there, and they look to be in excellent condition. So we're just giving them a clean up now, and we'll press this crank back together. Alright, so what Justin's just doing now is setting up to press the Kingpin into one of the flywheels. So we'll line that all up and just press it straight on. So you can see by these flywheels are the later model ones, because the earlier original ones don't have that recess on the flywheel with the kingpins going in. So I'll get that pressed in. Get it all lined up. It's all looking good. So we've just lined that all up, and we're now pressing the flywheel onto the kingpin, and then once that's done we'll take it out and we'll put it on the stand and we'll start chewing it up. So we've got the crank pressed up, but what we've got is an awful lot of side thrust, sorry. See all that play there? That's not right. So Justin's just had a look back at the original flywheel and discovered this, that they've actually counterbored or chamfered out the hole. Now, something I didn't notice when we pressed this together was whether the kingpin actually has a radius on the inside corner instead of an undercut like the normal one. So we'll have to split it and have a look, because that's just not right. And we do want to use this because it's in such good condition. So it may be that we have to chamfer that out in order to get it to fit, but we'll wait and see when we pull it apart. So what we're doing now, before we true up the flywheel, is we're actually putting the stuffer plates on, because you've got to stake them, so you've got to hit it with a hammer. So that's not the thing you really want to be doing after you've trued up your crank. All right, that's pretty close. Not quite there yet, but it will be. But that's about it for not only today, but for this episode. So what Justin and I will be going on with tomorrow is we'll get this finally finished, trued up. Justin will start the engine rebuild. I'll go into the cycle bits and I'll start assembling the bike. So once again, thanks to all my subscribers. I really appreciate your support. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And from Justin and I at D3 BSA Bantams, we'll see you later.